They said Gucci Mane isn't really Gucci Mane. That's Hobson. They gave him plastic surgery to become Gucci Mane. And now they saying Damar Hamlin isn't Damar Hamlin. And if you ever watched the TV show The Boys, you know about Noir. You know how Noir died, but they had somebody else come back to play him. That's crazy.
The street's been buzzing, but now it's getting wild because Kanye West just slid into the conversation talking like he got inside info on Gucci Mane's situation, and what he hinted at has everyone shocked. According to him, the real Gucci didn't even make it out of those years behind bars, and people are whispering that what we see today might not be the same man at all. Suddenly, those old rumors people used to clown are sounding a little too detailed to ignore, and when Kanye brought up Gucci's wife Kesha, it made the whole thing even more dramatic. Folks online been saying she's basically managing everything around him and that she keeps tight control over his social media and his public moves. People online have even been repeating claims that she monitors his lifestyle to keep him in line, according to what some old insiders have said. It's the kind of talk that makes everyone look back at past interviews and question what was really going on in the background. Gucci's ex, Mac Breezy, been trying to tell people something was off for years, and even Nicki Minaj dropped her own warnings back when nobody wanted to listen. People brushed them off, saying they were exaggerating, but now their old comments are getting dug back up with folks saying they might have been speaking on something deeper than anyone realized. Everything is starting to feel like one big mystery that never got solved because everyone was too busy laughing at the rumors. But if we're being real, the whole theory started way back in 2013 when Gucci had that legendary Twitter meltdown that had the entire industry watching the timeline like a movie. He was calling out everybody, and it wasn't quiet either.
Cause girl, you don't even know the real Gucci. Y'all think y'all know the real Gucci. Y'all don't know the real Gucci. That nigga parading around out here, that ain't the real Gucci, man. That's not him. I don't know where the fuck, honestly. Like, last time I seen Gucci was at Patchwork Studio in 2010. Cold Blooded was there. Was Mojo there? Yeah, I think Mojo, Cold Blooded. Like, that's the last time I saw Gucci in the flesh, but even that was...
He was typing like he had something to prove, going at artists left and right. He came for Yo Gotti, Nicki Minaj, Waka Flocka, T.I., Angela Yee, Rocky, French Montana, Tyga, Birdman, and Black China. Nobody was spared. He even kicked Waka out of Brick Squad, saying he felt betrayed, and dropped claims about situations with different women, including quotes like he is in trouble coming from...
Yeah, free Gucci. Thinking, but I'm thinking, man, something ain't right. Gucci, is you in there? It's so blank twice. Wake up.
Folks involved at the time, it was absolute chaos and nobody could figure out what pushed him to that point. And right after that meltdown, everything flipped again when he got arrested in Atlanta. Police said they got multiple calls about someone acting out in traffic, moving aggressive and making people uncomfortable. And when they showed up, it was Gucci in the middle of the whole scene. That moment is what kicked off the first wave of people saying something changed after that arrest, and that's when the clone rumors really took off.
I've been personally playing for about 8 years now. It started around around Illmind 5 when that came out, because the song was so big, and they told me I had to kind of sacrifice something. They said you're gonna have to pay it back because he just put this information out there, and this is gonna put people in the wrong mindset of what we're trying to do in society. So they told me that if I don't do these list of things, then they're going to hurt my family. And it was like an all white room, and they opened one of the doors, and it had a Gucci suit. A Gucci bodysuit. And I said, oh no, please don't tell me that is what I think it is. They said, yeah.
When the police rolled up that day, Gucci didn't just surrender quietly like Coca. He rushed at them, and the whole scene turned intense real fast. Even with all that chaos, the officers still managed to restrain him, and once they searched him, they found both a firearm and substances he wasn't supposed to have. That moment wasn't his first time dealing with the law, but it was definitely the breaking point that pushed the courts to say he needed real time behind bars. Before this whole situation, he had already been arrested for striking a man with a champagne bottle during a nightclub incident in Atlanta. So by the time he stood in front of a judge again, they looked at him like someone who kept repeating the same patterns. The court wasn't trying to hear excuses anymore. They felt he needed structured time away to regroup and rethink his choices. He got sentenced to 3 years and 3 months, but with credit and good behavior, he ended up serving only about 2 years, which made people think he was finally calming down. Now, according to the official story, this was when Gucci supposedly decided to turn his whole life around. They painted it like he took accountability, cleaned himself up, and came out a changed man, but fans have been whispering for years about whether that version of the story is actually the full truth. The way everything shifted so fast had people confused, wondering if something bigger was happening behind the scenes. While he was locked up, Gucci started speaking out about why he had been spiraling, and he admitted he had been struggling with dependency issues for a long time. He even shared personal reflections, writing moments like, "I woke up the other day out of this hospital bed, and I'm so embarrassed and ashamed of my behavior that was brought to my attention. I just want to man up right now and take this time to apologize to my family, friends, the industry, and most of all my fans. I'm sorry. I've been drinking lean for 10 plus years, and I must admit it has destroyed me." That confession shocked fans everywhere because it gave a raw look at what he had been fighting behind the scenes. Even with all that honesty, people still debate how much of the transformation was real, how much was pressure, and how much was something else entirely. Gucci even stepped forward with a confession that shocked the whole industry, saying he wanted to be the first rapper to openly admit what he was fighting. He said straight up that he had developed a serious dependency on lean and that it wasn't something to play with. He talked about how the haze from it had him forgetting things he said and did, but he also made it clear that none of that was an excuse. He wrote messages talking about how he was incarcerated and planned to check into rehab because he knew he needed real help, and he thanked everyone who stayed solid with him through that rough chapter, asking people to keep him in their prayers. It was heavy, and the honesty hit a lot of fans hard. When he finally came out, he wasn't just sober, he was moving like a completely different version of himself. He had detoxed, had gotten into fitness, leaned out, and even started sounding clearer and sharper in interviews and music. But instead of celebrating their growth, the internet went into overdrive, and that's when the clone rumors really exploded. Folks online were saying the original Gucci had been unalived in prison, and that the person walking out was some kind of replacement meant to keep the story quiet. It was a wild theory, but people kept pushing it because of how dramatic the transformation seemed. Then things took another turn when he married Kesha, because that's when a whole new wave of talk started. People online said Kesha wasn't just his wife. They claimed she was acting like a full-on handler, controlling his social media, managing his day-to-day moves, and even supervising his medication and routines. The way she was around him had people saying the whole thing looked off, and those clone rumors got even louder. And when Nicki Minaj recently went at Kesha over comments made during a Breakfast Club interview, it fueled the speculation even more. Nicki was saying Kesha had no business bringing her up, and people online highlighted how Nicki's reaction added fire to the claims that Kesha was in Gucci's life to keep him drugged up and spend his money. The whole situation turned into a storm of rumors, finger pointing, and theories that had the internet spinning. Nicki Minaj didn't hold back either. She said things like, "Gucci wife has been trying to be me for years, been dying for the spotlight for years. She's there to keep Gucci sedated." That one line flipped the whole internet upside down, because even though these rumors existed long before Nicki spoke up, hearing her hint at cloning and control made everybody revisit the situation with fresh eyes. People started saying, if Nicki is even halfway suggesting this, then something must be going on, and the whispers came back louder than ever. But the wild part is that Gucci's ex, Mac Breezy, had already been sounding the alarm before all this. Just last year, she made some serious claims saying the real Gucci never made it out of prison and that the person walking around now was a cloned version. She talked about seeing him after he got released and instantly noticing something off, like his whole energy, mannerisms, and vibe had changed in a way she couldn't explain. She said it didn't feel like the same man she used to know, and fans took that seriously because she was speaking from first-hand experience. Every time she tried to talk to him, according to her, Kesha would get super protective, almost stepping in before the conversation even got rolling. Max said it felt like Kesha didn't want her anywhere near him for too long, or else she'd notice details that didn't line up, like she might realize the person in front of her wasn't the Gucci she remembered. That type of claim had people online going wild, saying it matched everything the conspiracy theorists had been shouting for years. Then after Nicki made her comments about Kesha acting like a handler, Mac Breezy came out again and doubled down, talking even louder than before. She even dropped a whole song demanding that the real Gucci's body be released, saying the situation didn't feel right and that Kesha knew way more than she was letting on. It was dramatic, over the top, and chaotic. Exactly the kind of thing that keeps people glued to the story. Gucci eventually addressed the clone rumors himself, trying to clear the air, but even that didn't stop people from giving him the side eye. He talked about how he felt like he had grown and changed as a person, saying things like he morphed into a different person after dropping some of his old habits. But instead of calming folks down, that statement just made the internet even more suspicious because people felt like he unintentionally confirmed exactly what they'd been accusing him of. Gucci spoke on his own evolution too, saying things like he grew up and he still loves the person he used to be, the person he is now, and the person he's becoming. He talked about trying to lose weight, taking better care of himself, changing his mindset, switching up his environment, and cutting off people who weren't bringing anything positive into his life. He said that's the transformation everybody claims they can't believe, but he believes it fully. And that only made the internet stare even harder at the situation. And right when everyone thought the drama had hit its peak, Kanye West stepped into the conversation, dropping hints that Gucci might actually be a clone too. Kanye has a history of making wild claims about certain people being cloned, but this time folks took him way more seriously because his timing lined up perfectly with all of the renewed speculation. And if people remember, there was even a point where the internet believed Kanye himself had been cloned, so now people are saying he's speaking from experience, like he knows how the whole process works. Some people online even say the industry didn't fully succeed with Kanye, but they got close enough that he recognizes the signs when he sees them in someone else. Then there was that moment that had everybody shook, when the rapper Hopsin went on IG Live and said industry elites tried to force him into being Gucci's clone, and that if he didn't cooperate, they were going to harm his family. At the time, most people laughed it off like he was tapping into the memes for attention, but with Kanye repeating cloning claims and all these suspicious moments in Gucci's rebrand since he walked out of prison, people are starting to say Hopsin might have been dropping real truth instead of jokes. The internet is connecting dots like never before, and it's getting chaotic. And as always, fans had their own theories pouring in. One person wrote things like, "We don't even see his eyes anymore. He had a distinct color to his eyes. Now they got him wearing shades all the time." That comment alone sent the internet into another spiral because people said it matched the same clone behavior they've been warning about for years. Another person came in saying, "I remember," hinting that they noticed the switch long before the rumors went mainstream. Every new detail just keeps adding more smoke to a fire the internet refuses to let go of. Some folks are convinced that the man we're seeing today is not the same Gucci they grew up watching, and they're saying it with their whole chest like, "That's not him and we all know it." The vibe is off, the energy is off, and people can't pretend they're not noticing it anymore. If he isn't a clone like the rumors say, then people believe something else had to shift. Maybe a heavy mix of medication, maybe he got exposed to something that changed him, or maybe his whole lifestyle just switched too fast for the public to process. But whatever it is, anybody watching him closely can see that something feels different, and the internet won't let that go. But now I want to hear your take on all this, because the street's been talking non-stop. What do you make of Kanye jumping in and exposing the whole clone conversation with confidence, like he's been holding receipts all along? And do you believe Gucci was taken out and replaced, or do you think this is just another wild rumor people turned into a movement? Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below, because I want to see where everybody stands on this one. And before you go, don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment, because we're diving into even more messy stories every single time. Make sure you click here to watch the next chaotic video, and I'll see you on the next one.